requested to come because we hear all the stories of recovery, but we forget that sometimes there's the people on the other side who are fighting a different battle. The battle trying to hold their family together, their house, themselves, trying to hide it from their children. My husband is an addict. I had no idea what addiction was. I had no idea the struggle that he faced, the struggle that I would soon end up learning that I would face. 6 years ago, he had come back in my life. We were high school sweethearts, and when he came in, everything was perfect. We had the typical everyday battles, with daily life, but nothing serious. Then the first relapse came. That's when I had learned what relapse really meant, what it meant for him, and what it meant for me. I didn't think it would affect me. That's his problem, not mine, but it did. But my concern wasn't about how it affected me. I felt like I had to help him. It was my job to help him. So I went ahead and I laid out the red carpet for anything and everything he needed. Everything got good, he got clean, he got sober. We had done this a couple times. The final time, one of the final times, it wasn't help that he needed. I convinced him that it was my job. I was put on this earth to save him. I checked his cell phone. I knew of all of his comings and goings. I made it my job to chase after him and pick up all the pieces. That didn't help either. I began to lose myself. We had lost our children. I felt like my whole world had fallen apart. Lost my husband, my children, everything. That's when I started going to therapy. I started going to Al-Anon. I had learned that I was more codependent than what I felt like a lot of people were in that room. Because I lost everything. But I learned that I wasn't more codependent. I was just as codependent as everybody else. I was addicted to saving my husband. He became my addiction. Every day I woke up to save him. One day he had shown up or come home, and it wasn't my husband. It's the body of my husband, but it was not my husband. That's when I learned that I had to go ahead and take steps to save myself. I had taken those necessary steps. With that being said, he's currently incarcerated for different choices that he had made. My understanding is that he is doing what he needs to do to get clean. I, too, have been working my program. Spent 2 years in therapy. I've spent the past year and a half, going to Al-Anon meetings. I have gone ahead and my children are home. I hope that given time, given work on both parts, that we can work together and have a life. But the important thing to realize is there are programs for the loved one of the addict. There's Al-Anon. Charlotte Behavioral offers an amazing therapy program that will give you the tools you need personally that you may not be able to address in the program. I just feel like everyone here, there's always a story to be told. And I applaud everyone here who's an addict that decided to share their story, because their story gives me inspiration for my husband and for everyone. My husband had written a poem, and I'd like to share it with all of you because while the questions were never answered by him, I feel like the poem kind of laid out the struggle and gave me some answers. Lies and broken promises deceit beyond belief, hearts in shattered pieces, crumbled like dry leaves. Enough tears to bathe an army, cried when you're alone. It makes you wish your broken heart had been carved out of stone. But even hearts of stone would crack and bleed beneath this load, for I have chose to travel down hell's road. The drugs that rule my body, destroying mind and soul, have taken me places where I've lost all control. The driving force that moves me is the need for one more line. To ease my body's craving, thought controls my mind. The depth of hell spew up this thing creates the living dead. It kills my mind, the heart and soul, and terror fills my head. The devil says, just look at how you've hurt those who care. Why don't you just snuff out the light? Think of the grief you will spare. But prayers and faith are stronger than Satan's evil mind, and God can bring us through this. He is loving, strong, and kind. He can find the scattered pieces of life so torn apart, mend the broken spirit, heal the aching heart. He promised he would never put on us more than we can stand, and he will keep his promise if we only hold his hand. He can raise the man who's gone so low his face to the ground, lift him up, help him stand, and turn his life around. All it takes is the true admission, I can't control my life. Give all to God, He'll give you strength and put an end to strife. Deny the devil access, put your trust in him above. The living dead can return to life through God's unfailing love. There's hope for every single person. Don't be ashamed of being the addict. Don't be ashamed of being the loved one. Someone needs to hear your story. Share it. If it's over coffee, you see someone struggling, reach out your hand, because no matter what, that person feels so alone, and the smallest gesture can give them the courage to change. Thank you.